Hi, I'm Charlie Helms, CEO of Wi-Fi Sports Network, and today we'd like to come and do another training class on our scoreboard modules. So let's just move right into the scoreboard here on the bottom of the screen right below me as you see, and we're going to bring up our scoreboard, and you see right now that it's 21 to 14, but our 14 is missing, and so is our first down and distance. Now this is for a football scoreboard. We will make custom graphics for you according to what sport or whatever you would like for us to build. You need to inform us of that information so we can do that. So this particular scoreboard has a visitor's name. We can make this scoreboard without that so you can type in the name of who you're playing against. So it's all up to you on how you want to work your scoreboards. You just communicate with us so we can build it accordingly. But let's move into how we move information within the scoreboard. Now, this scoreboard right now is at the bottom of the screen. We could move the scoreboard to the top. So what we would do is go to scoreboard, right click in the body of it, go to position the scoreboard, and this is geometry, X's and Y's. So we're going to go to the Y's, algebra. Right now it's set at 300 pixels on the screen, low, down low. So let's move it to 14 pixels. Now that's moved it to the top, and that's pretty good distance, but probably really could go a little bit taller or a little bit higher to the top. So let's, instead of 14, let's make it 10. A little bit more. I think we need to come on up just a little bit more, so let's make it 7. Okay. We still got a little distance here, so that works out well. Now we found our 14 that was already here, and it's here, and our first for first quarter, which would go right here. So we just need to move these scores, these numbers into those positions, and then we'll work on the second scoreboard for down and distance. So let's move the 14. We know that we're at 7 as far as this goes. So let's come to our second position score. We right click, teams to score, and we want to go to the Y. Right now it's at 335. Let's move it to 10. It's too high, so we want to move it back down. So we're going to come in here, go back to the Y, and we're going to go to 15. Now, here's a good rule of thumb. If we see that the 21 is already in position, let's just check team 1's Y, and we see it's at 18. So we come here to position 2, team score, and go to their Y, and we're going to set it to 18. So now we're exactly on the same plane, but we're not far enough to the right. So we're going to go to the position 2, X. Well, it's at 243, and we still need to go more to the right. So let's move that over. Oops, hang on a second. Here we go. Let's move that over to 265. Still not enough. So let's go over to the X again. Y'all keep seeing my little warning come up behind here. Let's go to 275, not enough, and let's move on over to 285, still not enough, so let's go on over to 290. So this is the process. Now, that's looking better. Probably could go over to 295, and we could call it a day on this, 295. There. So that's in the position that I want there. And if I add scores, everything balances out. So we're at 21-21. Everybody's in the same position. Now I want to move my first, and it needs to just go straight up. So we know that 18 is where we need to be. So we're going to go to team 2, and we're going to go to the Y, and we're going to go to 18. And there we are, first quarter. All right, now we've got our down and distance. We're going to do the same thing here. Team 1, Team 2. So we're utilizing this scoreboard for a separate function to combine all of this information. So team 1, we know it needs to go to 18. And I don't see it there, so that's interesting. Let's do team 1, Y is at 18. And let's move, oh, it's not on. We've got to turn it on. Now we see that they're both up here already, but 18 is too high. So let's go into team 1, Y. Oh, I know why. This is great. I'm glad this problem's coming up. Notice the difference in the size font and the difference in the font. So that's going to change position. We're using Arial at 16 and it's bold. So let's go to this scoreboard and check the font. Arial 16, but it's not bold. So we'll click bold. And there we are. So now let's come over here. Y, X. And we're going to move it down because it's definitely not in the same position. And we're going to go to 24. Okay. Now we've got to come far over with our X. And this was at 295, so this will have to be, and let's say at 385. Close, but not quite. So let's use, say, 475 on Team 1's X, 475. There we go. In the perfect position, and let's move our 10. We know that the Y is at 24, and we're going to move the number. This time we were at 475. Let's go to 550. Almost. So we feel certain if we come on over to 570, I believe we'll be right where we want to be. There we go. So our numbers are in position, but they look still just a little bit high. So let's come on in and tweak them. This is just the process. And what you're going to like about this, it's one time and done. And I'm going to show you why I say that. Whoops, wrong. We don't want to change that. We want to change the Y and go to 27. Now, I want my down and distance to stand out a little bit. So let's change the color to yellow. So it stands out a little different. Now, how am I going to save this information so that it doesn't continue to move or every single time I have to reposition? You go to your file, save profile, brings up, and you're going to save it to whatever name. If this is a football profile, we type in football, save. And now this profile, as far as how the screen looks, everything about it, your numbers, all of this will always remain the same. So when I bring it up, it's right in position. If I close the program and bring it back up, it's still going to be in that same position. So this is a great learning tool of how to utilize your scoreboard, how to move the numbers, how to change the font. Even here, if I wanted to come over here and say, you know what, I don't like white, I want this to be a different color. So let's go to our circle and let's make it a real strong burgundy. And we say, okay. So there's our color. And now that's brilliant red there. Doesn't show up good. So you go, okay, I really don't like that color. Let's go back in here and change it to white and say we'll leave it at white. So those are the changes. Now, because I've changed it and I went to burgundy and came back to white, my profile still remembers it as white. It's not going to be the different color. So even if I came back here, I don't want to go too fast, but if I came back here and say, okay, I want to select that color back, and I change this, that's where it's going to remember the white, not this, because your profile was set for white. Only if I come here and save the profile with the new color will it remain that color. So that is how you make those changes on your scoreboards for movement, color, font, all of that to work accordingly. So once again, thank you for coming to view a training session with us. We want to help service you any way we can. If you have any questions, please call our office. We'll be more than glad to help you. Thank you again from Wi-Fi Sports, and we hope you have a great day.